Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mondays with Mel. My name is Melissa Chung-Mowat, and I am the NDP candidate running in the federal riding of Winnipeg North. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Mondays with Mel is an opportunity to connect with constituents, with community and thought leaders around the realities that influence lives of folks living in Winnipeg North. The theme that we always come back to is all of us together. So I'm really thrilled to be joined tonight by Aira Villanueva. Aira and I met a couple of weeks ago at her e-waste collection drive at the Maples Community Center. And so Aira, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Awesome. Well, I think there might be folks who aren't familiar with your work. So do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and about this e-waste collection drive that you've been doing?
For sure. So my name is Aira Villanueva. I am a Filipina immigrant studying education at the University of Winnipeg. I'm in my third year, and I founded E-Waste Manitoba 2 months ago. Wow, 2 months ago. And it's in support of a Canada-wide scholarship competition hosted by the Electronic Recycling Association. And so far, I've done one collection event, and I'll have more um, e-waste drive in Winnipeg and outside Winnipeg.
Yeah, and so that's really impressive that you've only been working on it for 2 months because we met at the event, which was really great. And what I saw was a truck full of electronics and a constant stream of people coming to drop off their working and not working electronics.
Yeah.
And people seemed to just really appreciate the opportunity to bring the things that they're not using and know that it's being diverted from landfills, and the things that are still working are going to be, as far as I know, they're kind of given back to community organizations. Yeah.
So they will be donated back to families, students, and charities in need here in Winnipeg. And to apply, you just go to era.ca for the donations.
Yeah. And so what made you want to pursue this project?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm gonna have to turn off my phone.
That's okay. I've had a couple of these go already, so I've now I'm like, okay, make sure I turn off my phone, but that's because I've had a couple goes at this.
Sorry. Okay. Can you repeat the question, please?
So I'm just curious as to what made you decide to undertake this initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So every every March, like every spring, I try to find things to do during summer because usually I'm not doing anything. And during summers, I go to Quebec to study French, but this year I cannot go anywhere. And so I tried to find um, initiatives so that I can still do something active and also help our community. And so I found a scholarship competition to do, and this is actually one that was the most interesting to me because um, not only will I receive scholarship, but I will also be helping non-profit organizations get IT equipment that they need.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I know a little bit about the previous work you've done around education in the Philippines, I believe. And I'm sure you've had, you've done, I think, lots of other community-driven initiatives as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a bit about where you've developed your leadership skills to undertake these big things?
Yes, so I went to Seven Oaks Division, and one of the after school program they have is Wayfinders Manitoba, and it's an after school program where you volunteer and um, you you volunteer and be involved with the community, and that's where I kind of developed my passion for volunteering. I've also volunteered at IRCOM, Immigrant and Refugee Community Organizations of Manitoba. That's during high school. And in university, I've kind of just been really into volunteering. So I founded Project Aira with Tyler, one of the SPSW at Wayfinders, and we did a pop-up coffee shop to collect donations, and they were donated to Bearcan patrols and to students in the Philippines, in Pangasinan, Philippines.
Yeah, so yeah, that's awesome. And um, from what I'm hearing, that you've found a way to kind of build relationships and connect with community organizations that are also serving kind of diverse community needs. So with
Mm-hmm.
IRCOM through immigrant and refugee programming, and through Bear Clan, an Indigenous-led organization. And from what I know, your upcoming collection drive for the e-waste is also in partnership with Initiative and North End Women's Center.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And also Scope INC will also be there because there are kitchen appliances and home electronics that ERA is not accepting. And so if people have working condition e-waste that are kitchen appliances and home appliances, they can come and drop it off there. And it will go towards Scope INC.
Yeah, that's awesome. Scope is just down the street from me, actually, on
Oh, I
Main Street in Euclid.
see.
Yeah, and I think that for me as well, growing up, having connections to community organizations, I think is so important, and in just connecting, building relationship, getting support. For me, growing up, that was through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Winnipeg, which I know you also have a connection to.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. But can you tell me a little bit about perhaps, the needs of youth that you're seeing in the community, around building leadership skills, around accessing education opportunities, things like that? Just, yeah, from your perspective, what are some of those top priorities and needs and supports needed for youth?
Hmm. I think we should make sure that organizations and programs such as Wayfinders are well funded so that they can help more youth like me. I'm really, really lucky that I was able to get scholarship from Wayfinders for my 2 years of university. And if not, I would be having a really difficult time trying to find a job and still be in university. So I think it's really important to have funding from these organizations.
Yeah. And yeah, and having strong community networks, strong grassroots organizations who really understand the needs of the
Yeah.
community, who can respond to the needs of the community, and then also, making education more accessible. And I think, a priority for us is canceling student debt so that students don't have to scramble and worry so much or forego education altogether because it's just not accessible.
Yeah.
Um, this is so awesome, Aira. Do you want to tell us a little bit more details about your next event so that people know where to go and what to bring and how to get involved with the e-waste collection?
For sure. So our next event is on May 16. That's a Sunday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We will be at the Ralph Brown Community Center parking lot to do a e-waste collection drive. It will be a drive-through drop-off. And if you come, you'll learn more about initiative. You can also learn more about North End Women's Center. And there will be a free on-site data destructions. Usually this costs a lot of money, around $5 to $10, but at this event it will be free. And yeah, come if you come to our event to learn more about some of the organizations that are working in our community that are doing a lot of good stuff.
Awesome. And I'm really excited. I'm going to be there too, to lend a hand. So, and thank you for that invitation that I can come out and support as well.
Mhm.
So to wrap things up, let's end with our final question. So for you, Aira, why is community important? and how do we work together to build on its strengths?
Mhm. Community is so important because community is your support system, and it's really important for us to work together because we are the ones who will be with each other on hardships and in all of the um, all of the events that will be happening. I don't know
I
if
love it.
that's a good answer.
No, I think that's a great answer. It's, we all have our different ups and downs in life, and
Mhm.
having strong community networks and strong community organizations and healthy communities and well-funded communities all just helps ensure that we all can succeed and live a good life.
Yeah.
Ira, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the next drive and to continuing to stay engaged and connected.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ira. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Stay posted on social media at Mel for WPG North on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we'll be doing this again next Monday. Yeah, leave some feedback in the comment section. Get in touch. I'd love to chat. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye, Ira.
Bye.